Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Ghost Trick. On today's episode, for the first time we get to talk to Inspector Cabanell directly, so let's see what he has to say about the mystery of us. If I knew things were going to end up like this, I would have tried to die in that explosion, baby. That way I could have been dancing after Big Red by now. I might be able to erase deaths, but it's true I can't do much about injuries. But really, you shouldn't talk that way. Yeah, sorry, I suppose you're right. I just hate feeling so helpless. He was right there within my grasp. All our plans were resting on tonight, and then this had to happen. I guess he's thinking about his spotless record. It's not too late, Inspector. We still have a chance. Maybe I can catch him. Say, you're right. That's not a bad idea. I'll cooperate with you fully. Go ahead and fire away with any questions you like, Mr. Ghost. Start with, revenge. Sure, why not? The guy mentioned revenge. Revenge against the people who stole his life away 10 years ago. He's a fool. He's the one who made the decision to take that little girl hostage and he wound up dead. He only has himself to blame. But what about when he said this? I was murdered. By all of you, Detective Jowd, who forced me into a corner, Lynn, the girl who was playing in the park, and finally you, Inspector Cabanell. If you hadn't done what you did, I never would have pointed a gun at that kid. Doesn't really make sense. Cabanell wasn't even at the scene in the park. Or, at least as far as we know. Yes, 10 years ago on that day, the Special Investigation Unit was working on a certain big case. We hauled in a young man, an important witness to our investigation. And then I did it. I made two very stupid mistakes. I thought he had a spotless record. How could he have made a mistake? Detective, I'm telling you. I didn't know anything about it. Fine, fine. You're under no obligation to talk, of course. It's pretty easy to figure out who these two people are, especially since the guy on the left has Sissel's trademark pointy hair. But if you don't, the Special Investigation Unit can make the rest of your life a living hell. Wow, so he's the bad cop here? But Aw, poor Sissel. I'd just been assigned to the Special Investigation Unit, you see. They didn't share much info on big cases with a newbie like me yet, and I wanted to impress them. It was only supposed to be a simple matter of taking a statement. But I was too green. I pushed him too hard. I drove him into a corner and made him lose all hope. That was my first mistake. And then I made another mistake on top of that. Cabanell, got a minute? The chief wants to see you about your report. Got it, I'll be right there. You stay right here and be a good boy now. You look at him go, and that's when I did it. I left it behind in the interrogation room, my gun. Are you serious? I would think that even rookie detective training would teach people not to do something stupid like that. How could you? He used my gun to escape. What he said is true. If I hadn't made that mistake, he never would have had a gun to point at Lynn in the first place. I'll have to ask more questions about him. We first found out about the manipulator's existence during a certain overseas communication. We did hear about this during the last conversation too. For national security purposes, this country keeps tabs on the communications networks. This particular communication was about making a deal with a certain foreign country. I think we should know what they are. He said he wanted them to buy him and his powers. That's how we first heard about him. Of course, we didn't know what he looked like at the time, and in order to prove these powers of his, he gave them two predictions. He foresaw two completely preposterous, impossible cases. The case of a man who would sing national secrets during a live rock concert broadcast, and the case of a man who would take the chief commissioner hostage in his own office. Those two inmates in the special prison, eh? Yeah, pretty obvious. We kept tabs on their communications and launched an investigation. And then finally we pinpointed where they were going to meet tonight and staked it out. I know that's actually a little scary that nationwide communications are monitored at all times in this country. That restaurant, the Chicken Kitchen. Yep, there's a beauty and dandy. The manipulator plans on leaving this country tonight, on a submarine that belongs to the other country in this deal. A submarine? But we haven't been able to find out where it's going to surface. It's terrifying to think what would happen if his powers were to fall into their hands. Right. Highly unlikely they'd use him for peaceful purposes. And now they have that little girl as a hostage. Kamala. We have to stop him before he leaves the country. This spotless record of yours, is it really that important to you? Of course, baby. In some ways it's more important to me than my life. Than your life, eh? After all, it's because of my record that I'm able to get my hands on all intel as head of the Special Investigation Unit. And because of my position, I get to direct all aspects of the investigation into the manipulator case. The case? That's why you cared about your record so much? Of course. Why else, baby? I just never could believe it, man. Jowd shooting Alma? I didn't care that he confessed. There was definitely something more to the story. Some secret. So this is where you find out that Cabanell is actually good all along in spite of him being portrayed as kind of a dandy so far. I did everything I could to climb the ladder, everything in my power, and then I finally found the answer. It took 5 long years, though. The manipulator, he's gonna prove that Jowd is innocent. What incredible determination. Let's see, talk about that now. There's one thing I just don't understand. If you're so determined to help Detective Jowd, why didn't you help him escape from prison? That's an easy one, baby. Escaping from prison is a crime. I wasn't about to help him commit a crime after spending 5 years trying to prove him innocent. And he himself asked to be executed, you know? As a man of the law, I had to make sure the execution was stopped legally. And that's why I brought him before the Justice Minister, too. I needed to buy as much time as I possibly could. So that's it, eh? I guess that was basically the safest place to be. It's where all the major characters of the story had converged thus far. But there's one little unfortunate result in all this. Lynn completely misunderstood your intentions. Huh, what's a little misunderstanding? My baby will come around. Give it time. I mean, this all took place in one night. But there are more important things to do with our time tonight. Certainly are. Let's get cracking. We've only got about 3 hours left on our clock. So that contraption in the basement there, you built that to try and help Detective Jowd. That's right. Jowd and I worked together back when I was with the Force. I used the reports of his case to try and recreate the device, but there was just one part of it that I couldn't reproduce no matter how hard I tried. Kamala told Jowd he did something he shouldn't have, made an impossible move. I added that part to the device I recreated. I put in a part that would allow Cupid to rotate, otherwise the gun wouldn't fire. So that must mean somebody manipulated Kamala's contraption. As a result, we proved to ourselves that the manipulator actually existed. And we actually saw him, in this case, manipulate the gun back to blow up the room downstairs. Hey, baby. Just hanging out. Sorry about that phone call. I must have sounded like a real villain. I hated to spoil your image of me, of that cool cat inspector you always looked up to. Is that really the image you had of him? Actually, it probably did. Inspector Cabanell, I'm sorry, I just heard you were chasing after that man all this time to try and help Detective Jowd. This manipulator is such a dangerous character, I was hoping you didn't have to be involved. That's why you had me arrested tonight, isn't it? Like I always say, if somebody's in the way, throw him in the slammer. Yikes. Well, there was that empty cell in the special prison. Tonight? What about tonight? I really thought we finally had him, but my body gave out on me right at the critical moment. It's like a cruel joke. To be fair, he did blow up the room, but a joke is a joke, you might as well laugh. He's looking pretty content all of a sudden. The minister called off the execution order, and while he was at it, he let Jowd go free until tomorrow morning, too. That's a pretty extreme while he was at it. Not really, the guy was already out of prison. Didn't even change out of his clothes. Sorry I took so long to get here. You can leave the rest to me. There you go again, you've always been like that. You make everybody else run around, then you swoop in at the last second. That really sounds more like Cabanell. Hey, check it out, the pigeon has, 5 years ago you left this coat with me just before you turned yourself in. I promise to give it back to you one day. I think it's funny that the pigeon is still on the guy's head even though he's floating next to him in the actual scene. I really hope that the pigeon didn't keep that coat under him like he did the key. But now we get Jowd's action pose. Aww, I've been waiting so long, Detective Jowd. Waiting for this day to come. Thanks for not giving up on me, Lynn. Okay, I'm off then. Good luck, my old friend. He took off the artist smock, but he left the prison uniform on. It's a little weird. Hey, it's that watch. What a coincidence. This present you gave me is just what I needed. Thank you. Glad you like it. Does he need to know what time it is now that he's out of jail? Kinda cute, maybe? Go, go, go! Cecil, are you there? Yeah, I'm here. You and I have to go find that man. I need your help. Will you do this with me? Sure, but how? We don't know where the submarine is and the phone line doesn't work. They use communication cables to make their calls. We'll get you hooked up somehow, you'll see. Could you wait here until we do, please? Okay, fine, I'm counting on you. This true self you're looking for. I bet you'll find it soon. Well, naturally, we're almost at the end of the game. It'd be pretty disappointing if we didn't. Hey, baby, see you later. It's almost dawn. I'm not who I thought I was. I'm actually further from knowing who I am than ever. But now I don't feel so alone. Each one of us, for his or her own reasons, is looking for the truth. Together, I think we can shed light in these mysteries and drive away the darkness. But it's almost dawn. It's very true. Chapter 16, 4:19 a.m. Less than 2 hours to go. Also probably the longest chapter in the game, I believe. Lynn kept her promise about getting me hooked up. About 2 hours before dawn, the phone rang. They moved pretty quickly for trying to find a submarine. That's some kind of sonic high-speed boat or something. like we're in a hurry or anything. Come on, man. Hello? This is Jowd. Cicely, you're listening? We need your powers. No time to talk. We'll be waiting for you. Seems reasonable. Let's go. Trace complete. To the control room. So yeah, basically just swapped out from the previous old man's room. Sits. Well, you better get going. This long night is drawing to an end. Yeah, it looks like it. Thank you for all your help tonight. I'm the one who should be thanking you. At the other end of the phone line, I'm finally gonna find all my answers. I better go. This is a long trip. He's going all the way, they don't really show it in this little cutscene, the little movie, but he's going off into the ocean somewhere. A single telephone line connects me and the other Cecil, but that single line spreads out like a spider web to ensnare the fates of many people. Check it out, here we are. And I just reached the center of the web. You'll notice there's a whole bunch of rooms we can see inside the submarine itself. There's a very good reason why this is so well detailed. We'll probably, each actual detail in the submarine represents something we'll be looking at in a level in the game, which is pretty cool. Welcome to the Yanoa. Detective Jowd. Hey, it's that guy. Where's Commander Sith? My detective sense must have gotten rusty. I didn't even sense your presence here in the dark. That's because I switched the power to my mask off, Detective Jowd. I used your phone. I hope you don't mind. Probably not. I'm just gonna whack Jowd like he whacks that machine. Hey, Sith. Egad, never thought you'd track us here, especially seeing as you're death row inmates. And I'm equally surprised about your choice of transportation, a submarine, eh? But how'd you find us, my man? Not even the police knew where the Yanoa was going to surface, confound it. We detectives have a little saying. If there's something you want to know about a case, ask the criminals. Well, we didn't ask him anything here. Check that out. Bam. The bullet the man in red was shot with had a radio transmitter in it. That's pretty clever of Cabanell, I have to say. I have a little something for you. Remember this? The watch? Turns out it wasn't a present at all. Cabanell's had the whole thing planned out the entire time. Cabanell's given me some pretty weird presents in the past, but they always prove useful. This one was a radio receiver made to look like a pocket watch. Yes, Cabanell. I hear he's an excellent investigator. By the way, where's the man in red? I know he's in the submarine somewhere. Ah, Cicely, you mean? Let's discover. Oh, check it out. It's looking pretty dead again. You can relax. That's nothing but a shell. His shell, eh? His spirit isn't here right now. Most likely right about now, he's controlling your daughter. So I guess Cabanell is here too. Please, I beg you, let my daughter go. If you need a hostage, take me. Just please let her go. Bah. There's something our nation needs. Cecil has it. That's all we care about, my man. Nothing else matters. However, it would appear Cecil has underestimated us. He's left behind his precious bargaining chip here. Bargaining chip? Wow, that thing went right up under Dowd's, Anyway, our nation has already researched it. This product that Cecil has to offer, the source of his powers. Bam. That control panel just does absolutely everything. They just extract the meteorite piece from his body. Drop it down the little chute, and there we go. What in the world was that? The Temsic fragment. It gives spirits special powers, and now our deal with Cecil is concluded as far as we're concerned. What are you talking about? Tisk tisk, what a mistake to make right at the most critical moment. Now then, Detective Jowd. Farewell. One last whack for good measure. Boom. They're jettisoning the control room. So where does that leave us? What in the world? The whole room just vanished. Detective Jowd, where did he go? And where are we? Because we came into the lower floor. And something else blew up along the way. Look at that. That was a power outage. Even better. Thankfully, as usual, we can see in the dark. What now? I think I heard an explosion somewhere. In any case, Lim and little lady should be here somewhere. I smell danger. I better find them and fast. And find them we will, hopefully on the next episode of Let's Play Ghost Trick. See you tomorrow.